this computer. Okay, so now I'm recording. Okay, I need to hang on a sec. Let me make my screen smaller. Okay. Dismiss. Okay. Live. Virtual. Open. House. My computer's like higher, so it's awkward. 2, 4, 10. Ballantrae Road in Stouffville. Okay, so are you ready?
I guess so.
I'm going live now. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing today?
Hi, Catherine. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. This is that kind of blank spot that we don't know if it's recording or not. So we just figured we would talk a little bit and not just stare at the screen.
Good
So
call.
I think we're live now for sure.
Okay.
How are you doing? Like for real, how's everything going?
Yeah, it's strange times these days that we're all living in. I'm sure everyone can relate, and we're all doing unusual things. I made homemade pretzels yesterday for the first time in my life. I don't really even like them, but gave me something different to do and took up some time. So, we're all struggling to get through this at home and in our own ways. So
You should publish that pretzel.
I
It looks very
have had
good.
a few people ask for it. So
So before we get into the virtual tour
yes.
of this beautiful house, why don't you let everyone know why we're wearing red today?
Yes, so we are participating in Wear Red Friday. It is a day when we've been asked to wear red shirts as a display of solidarity and support for the province of Nova Scotia and the people of Nova Scotia and really Canada as a whole. We're all grieving together over the terrible incident that happened there last weekend. I am born and raised Nova Scotian who has proudly lived in Ontario for a very long time, but I did grow up there. I do have a lot of family and friends there, not personally impacted by this story, but we're all impacted in some way. And so our red shirts today are a show of support to them and showing that we are all grieving right alongside of them.
For sure. Okay, so let's go into the house. So today we're showcasing 10 Ballantrae Road. It's up in Ballantrae in Stouffville. It's a spectacular house. I don't know if anybody has seen the video yet, but we'll be sure to include the virtual tour in the comments later. So it is a 5+1 because the basement is fully finished, and there are 5 bathrooms, and it's probably over 5,000 square feet, roughly.
Definitely. So the MPAC information regarding the above grade floor space is 4,368 plus the basement, which basically is the footprint of almost that entire home that you can see there. So the basement is actually huge because the rest of the property is, and it is a full basement. So tons of space to live in this house for sure.
It is. It's like a double house, right? And that's,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
can see, like you said, the footprint, how long the house is, and it's gorgeous. But we're going to say that a couple times because it
Yes,
really is.
I'm sure we are. It really is. It just my first impression of this house when I walked in was just this overall sense of space, like the grandness of it was really what struck me. I've been in lots of big homes before, but there's just something about the layout of this particular property that just has this feeling of grandeur when you walk in. That is really kind of unique, even in an estate style home like this.
For sure. So when you walk in, you have that, because you have that cathedral ceiling, right? So you
Yes.
feel so closed in, and then everything is so open. Like it's just, it's remarkable. I mean, you really have to go through it to see how beautiful it is. But here, you know, here's the front entranceway, and there's the
Yes.
cathedral ceilings. There's travertine floors throughout, with the hardware and mixed with other flooring, of course. So
Mhm.
if we go over, I guess it would be to the right when you're looking at the pictures. This
Yes.
is this, and I spoke about this in another home too. I don't have a dining room in my house, so I'm very, I love dining rooms. I think they're so handy. And this one, I mean, you could fit, my gosh, you could fit a whole lot of people in here for sure.
Yes, I agree. It is a very spacious room. It is located just across the hall from the kitchen, so it is close enough for easy access, but not so close that you have to look at the mess if you've got one in either the kitchen or the dining room when you're in the other space. So I particularly enjoy that feature. And it has a lot of just really nice details. You can see some detail there in the ceiling. It's got nice big baseboards. It's got the continuity of the same floor throughout from the rooms beside, because you can see that the doorways are actually open archways instead of actually framed doorways,
Mm.
which makes really nice like sight lines throughout the whole main floor. So
'Cause you can, we'll show you after. There's a multi-sided fireplace, and you can actually see it from the dining room in the kitchen
that's
there.
right.
That's
You can
so
see it from many rooms, so that's the
great.
best part about it.
So here we'll go into one of the best areas of the home, the kitchen.
Mhm.
I mean, what can we say about this? It's large. It's got high-end appliances. It's definitely where the family would spend a lot of their time, I'm sure. And it's got an eating space as well. So if you don't need the dining room, you can just eat right in there.
It does, and the continuity again flows right through from the foyer and that entryway area. It flows right into the eat-in area, the multi-sided fireplace around this big, beautiful island in the center. It's just a very functional space that can house a lot of people at the same time. I think even on the few times that we were able to be there when other people were still in the house, which was a couple of months ago, there had to be, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 people, including us there, and it didn't feel like a crowded space at all.
No.
So I'm not sure the pictures really do it justice, but the floor plans that we have added will show you the actual dimensions of these areas so you can see exactly how spacious it is.
We'll be sure to post the floor plans as well,
Mhm.
and the video will show you more of a walkthrough as well. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's easier. So I know I said the kitchen's beautiful and one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts, but this room
Yes.
is where, you know, it's right off the kitchen. It's the
Yeah.
sunken great room, I call it. And
Yep.
as you can see the fireplace right there, you see it from everywhere. But you know, it's just beautiful, and it's got the high, I think it's 21-foot ceilings.
Yes, I believe that is correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
and just that wall of windows at the back, that palladium window wall is just, it's really stunning. I mean, when you look at the size of that sofa and then you imagine yourself standing beside that, you'd be what, 4 feet, 3.5 feet maybe above the sofa. The rest is all just soaring space. So although it's kind of hard to judge the height there, it's really spectacular. And
Mhm.
because the property is so large and the backyard is so amazing, the view that you have out those windows is just really spectacular.
It really, and that's the perfect word. It's
Yeah.
spectacular. Like it's like you said, we see a lot of homes, but there's just something about this home that seems to, the views are beautiful, the windows are large, and it's
Hmm.
very bright and open, and that's why they could get the dark, they could get away with the dark colors on the walls, right? Because
Yes,
it's so bright you can't even, you don't even notice that they're dark. So then we go in, there's a separate living area. um,
there is.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's got the flooring and the crown molding and the oversized baseboards, but it's a great extra space, right? If
Hmm.
somebody's watching something in the great room that you don't want to watch, there's a separate living area. Or if
Yep, lots of other spaces to go to.
yes, you do.
Yep. And again, like the continuity again, the floor stays the same throughout, the archways are the same throughout, those details in the ceiling are the same. So although there are separated rooms, they are open in the sense that they're not actually like framed door frames that with doors that close. And yeah, it's just got a really nice flow to it.
So I'm trying to be better with our live thing to see our comments. So we all know I have trouble with this multitasking thing on here, but let's have a look at what comments we're getting. So thank you for everybody's watching. We have Kevin on here and Sonia, and oh, one of the homeowners is here. Hi,
Oh,
Bessie.
yay.
Dolores is on here, and everybody's saying the same thing. Beautiful kitchen, love the paint color. Yeah, so no questions yet, so we can continue.
Perfect.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, about the kitchen, and it is. Let's go back to the kitchen. I love it so much.
Yeah, and just one other thing before I forget, I'm not sure if it's in the slides, but certainly it will come up later in the floor plan, is that this house also has an amazing main floor office. For all of us who are now struggling to figure out how we can work from home by not sitting in the middle of our living rooms like I am, or at their dining room table because I don't actually have an office space, that main floor office is like a dream come true these days. So there is
It
a
is.
beautiful main floor office. It does have doors that can close it and make it a secure, quieter space, but also has the same tall ceilings, great windows, light, spacious. I think even the door is glass, if I remember correctly, or like a French
Double,
style door. So yeah,
yes.
even that, although it can be closed, it doesn't really close it off completely from the sight lines. So an amazing feature for this home as well.
For sure. Now, to the other side of the house,
Yes.
the main floor master suite.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Like,
So
again,
important these days, such a desirable feature. And just this one is just, whoa, it's amazing.
yeah, and the fact that it's on the main level, right?
Mhm.
But it's not like close to anything. It's kind of on its own little
Yep.
wing on its, you'll see why, because the bathroom is where people probably live most of the time, because that's where I would live, that's for sure. So there's hardwood floors. Again, the windows, they're throughout, these large, beautiful windows, and your
Mhm.
view is always beautiful. It's always,
Yes.
because you're sitting on a large property, so it's quite beautiful. There's two large closets. There's
Yep.
hardwood floors, I think I already mentioned. And now there's also a gas fireplace right
That's
in the
right.
bedroom as
That's
well.
right. Yep. It's not showing in this picture, but it's right in the corner there. Oh, you can see it sort of in the faded picture
Background,
that we have
yes.
in the background. Yep. There is a lovely gas fireplace in the corner.
Hmm.
Just a really spectacular room. It is separated from the main living space of the house, but being a main floor master is something that we know is highly desirable feature. So it's the best of both worlds.
Hmm. Okay, I can't hold. I have to show you the master on screen.
Yes,
I'm so
please
in
move
love.
on to the beautiful bathroom. Oh my gosh, look
Oh,
at this bathroom.
yes, yeah, like we don't even. Where do we start? Where first of all,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bathtub is the
I know.
best thing I've ever seen.
I,
I. It's just. It almost looks, and this is going probably to be ridiculous. It almost looks like a shoe shape, and yet
yes,
I like shoes, so maybe that's why it's so attractive. But it's just so big, and it's like it almost just fits you perfectly. It's not a waste of water. It's not, because it's just for you. Like, sorry,
it's
I'm
a
very
very
in love.
special piece. It's that sort of wow factor in here. Although, the light you can see is a wow factor and the countertops are a wow factor. This entire bathroom is the wow factor. But that tub is just, it's just so special and so unique and something you just don't see that often, that it really was the one thing that captured me for sure when I was there.
And then their shower is just as gorgeous, and it's got
Yes, it
that
is.
that rainfall shower system, so that you
Yeah.
you feel like you're out in the rain. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
Just
just the tile work in here, the colors are so soothing. It's so natural feeling, but yet so elegant and classy and high end all at the same time. It's just they did a really good job at the selection of pieces that they used to work together with one another.
sure. And they just did this, I believe last year they just started on this bathroom and finished it all up. And I think you can see in one of the pictures here in the back that the toilet is actually in its own little room. So you can close the door, which, because let's be honest, you can't make a toilet look pretty. So I love that. I love when you can close that off. Um, what else is in here? Oh, tell them about the towel fixtures, which we don't have zoomed in, but tell them about that.
Yes, if you are looking for Swarovski crystals on your towel racks, then this is the bathroom for you, because I'm not sure I've ever seen that in a bathroom before, but here we got you covered.
You really do. And it's funny because, listen, they're towel racks, right? But I remember when we were doing our walkthrough, I looked at it, I'm like, how can I find this so pretty? It's just to hold towels, but oh my gosh, like the details, right? And the chandelier is beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
just, it's really, they did a great job for sure.
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
They really did.
we should probably go through the rest of the house. Just, I
I
know
think so.
I'm
We
obsessed.
have to come out of the bathroom now.
So we will show the video at the end. It's just such a large home. It's hard to showcase in a half an hour everything, obviously, right? So here's some of the features. So Lisa spoke about the main floor office. There's also, of course, main floor laundry. And then we talked about the bedroom and ensuite.
Yep.
The 20-foot ceilings, and the access to the garage is also on, I believe, on the side where the home office is.
Yes, correct.
Which is perfect, right?
Yes.
So if you needed someone to come in and didn't want them to come through the front door, they could totally come in that way. Now
Yes, and there is actually a second entrance door at that end
that's
to
true.
the front. So when you show the front part of the property, you'll notice another man door that's closer to the garage end that actually comes in at that end closer to the laundry room. So
True.
there are a couple of access points here.
Which I guess there needs to be with a house that large, right?
That's right.
So let's talk about upstairs. Now
Yes.
that's the main level. So let's talk about upstairs. So there's 3 more bedrooms.
Yes.
There's also a loft over the double car garage. So that makes it the 5th bedroom, which they currently use it for one of their children live up there, which I'm sure he's very lucky to have his own space. So there's this walkway, which you'll see in our video, that's open to downstairs, and I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, just this area, although it's not like livable space in the sense that it's not part of a room, it is just a walkway over top of the foyer entranceway area, and the area between the foyer and that great room downstairs that we talked about. It has this open rail and the view down into that room, the great room, and out straight through those palladium windows. You're in the second half, I guess, of that 21-foot space, and you're looking straight out towards the back. It's just it's really a spectacular view, and somebody was really thinking when they designed the fact that you could come to this area and see not only the downstairs of the house, but all the way out through the backyard and into the oasis area that we haven't even got to out there yet. You can see it all from up here.
I better hurry up. And that just makes it so much brighter, right? So the upstairs is just as bright as the downstairs because of the openness. So
that's right.
Really, really lovely. So we talked about the loft. There's also one of the bedrooms has a terrace, so overlooking the backyard, which is a very nice feature. You will see that in the video as well.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go to the finished basement. So it's like a whole other house, but
it is.
I have to say, if you have to stay home, this basement, and you have children, we would wish to have this right now because I'm sure our kids would all love it. Okay, not the wine room because that would be wrong, but we would love the wine cellar. So take us through the basement. So there's a walk up in the basement, and then there.
That's right. Yeah, the basement, I mean, wow, this basement is just it's crazy. It's got everything. This beautiful wine cellar that you can see with the custom wrought iron door and the floor to ceiling shelving. I mean, that's just its whole wow factor all on its own. But it also has an amazing gym space. You can see there in the center. It's got room for lots of different equipment. It's got windows, so it's bright. There's a theater room that is spectacular as well. I know I've used that word many times already in this video, but that's really the best way to describe it. And outside of these rooms, there's also a bedroom, there's a bathroom, there's a cantina, there is a couple of rooms that are just multi-use rooms, could be set up as additional like play space for kids, or you could run a small business from down there. You could set it up as another like rec room, games room type thing. Like they're huge, and there's just tons of space. And that is outside of the spaces that are closed off for storage and utilities and all of that, which there is a lot of as well. So this basement just goes on forever. And then there is a full double walk-up door to the backyard area. So it's just goes on and on and on. And it's
The
all
door,
amazing.
you have to see it in person, but the
Yeah,
door
you really do.
for the wine cellar is so pretty. Like it's wrought iron, but like it's just so beautiful. It almost looks like a vault.
Art.
And you're right, art, and
It's like a piece of art.
for sure, it's beautiful, and it can house a lot of your favorites in there for sure.
That's right.
Okay, so now let's talk about I know I keep putting off the backyard because I feel like that's going to be what we talk the most about, but especially with us all being sick of this weather, you know, looking forward to the pools opening, and maybe our clients will let us come over and have a test run at the backyard here.
I hope so.
So let's talk about the garage, because, you know, as you can see, there's a 3-car garage. So it's, go ahead. Go ahead.
A very unique style here on this home. It is an attached 3-car, but it is split into a 2-car attached immediately to the house. And then you have that breezeway area that the driveway is paved in the front and continues on under that area and through to the back. And then a single car on the side. So you have a full 3-car, although one is separated from the double, with all of the additional parking space in front of the house. And the driveway is large. It's long, and then it's circular, and then it comes over on the side here in between the breezeway of these 2-car garages. Of these 2 garages, pardon me. And then you have this full additional parking area that is separated from the front at the back for overflow. So you could easily park, what, I don't know, 20 cars in this driveway easily.
For sure. And what I like about it is that, you know, if you're having a party or hosting a party, which you would, because the backyard, you would always have parties back there. Your cars can be in the back of the home and nobody sees them, but then the circular driveway and the driveway in the front, there's so much space, right? Like
agreed.
You could have quite a few people. Okay.
And I suspect you would if you lived here, because all of your friends will want to come all of the time.
Yes, you would need guards to keep them out, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to have a little glimpse now of the backyard. These are some of the pictures that the homeowners took, because obviously we didn't list in the summer. So they have a fiberglass pool, very, very, it's quite large, but it's just the surrounding. You feel like you're just out in the middle of nowhere. It's very private with the cedar hedges, cedar trees all around it, but yet doesn't feel closed in because they've left open where they don't need the privacy, right? So that's really, really nice. So the concrete patio too, it's low maintenance, and then the 12-person hot tub. And then we don't have a picture of it, but there is you will see it in the video. There's a fire pit, and there's actually like built-in seating around the fire pit. It's just made for entertaining. Like there's no other word for it. It's just stunning.
Yeah, from May to September, I suspect maybe the only time you're inside is when you're either going to that movie room or dipping into the wine cellar to get the next bottle you're going to bring back out to the patio to this area. Because, like, why would you ever leave? Honestly, look at it. It's so beautiful. And this house, although we haven't really talked about proximity, it actually sits in the estate development directly across from the entrance to Ballantrae Golf and Country Club. So anybody who knows the terrain of that area or who knows how beautiful the golf course is, it basically looks exactly like that in this yard. So it's just a really spectacular location.
Really is.
I use that word again, spectacular.
But, and I warned them. What other
Oh
word do
boy.
you use? Because it really is
Mm-hmm.
everything. And so the lot size, I think it's cut off here a little bit. Sorry about that. The lot size is beautiful. So it's 1.85 acres.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the way it's set
Huge.
up, it is at the, so I think I have another picture here. Yes. So it's at the front of the property.
Mhm.
So you have all this land in the back of it as well. And I think they had told me that there's another entrance that can be put in at the back of the property off of 48. And you can see like all the extra space back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I know the pool looks half the size of the house. Look at it.
I know.
I love these aerial shots. They're so wonderful.
They're really
So,
good for sort of judging the size of things. You can
hmm,
see, I mean, although this is an estate development and you can see the houses next door also have big properties, because this home is the first home turning into this road, they have additional space on the side
mhm.
running the entire length of the property that other houses don't. So their lot is even bigger than most of the other ones in here.
There is, and you can see where they've put up the trees for privacy, but
Hmm.
still allowing, for it to feel like you're all on your own. And
Yes,
and that's a big lot for being in town, right? Like usually
it's
they're about
huge.
1.2, 1.25 acres, but the fact that they're almost 2 acres that's an oversized lot. I
Definitely.
know we're running. It's very hard to talk about this house in 30 minutes because it's really, really big. So let's talk about location. That's another wonderful part about this house. So country in the city is what they call Stouffville, right? But this is really country in the city, right? You're
That's right.
close to everything. You're right in the middle of it all. You're minutes away to Stouffville, to Aurora, to Newmarket, to the highways 404, to the 407. Um, yeah, it's just the perfect location so that you're not
Mhm.
stuck in the hard, like all the traffic and stuff, but you are close enough that if you need something, it's right there.
Yes, definitely. I live in Aurora and work in Stouffville, so this is my route every day to come in. Ballantrae is about the halfway point on that drive, so I'm about 8 or 9 minutes straight across Aurora Road, heading east to Highway 48 intersection, which that Aurora Road and Highway 48 intersection is Ballantrae. So that's the location of this property and the golf course and some cute little restaurants and
Mm,
the cheapest gas station around, I might add.
yes.
So I often go that route, especially when I need gas. And then it's straight down Highway 48, about another 8 or 9 minutes until I'm right in town in Stouffville. So it is really close access to everything.
And you brought up the golf courses. I was actually, when we were doing the history on the home and stuff, I couldn't believe how many golf places we have here in Stouffville. Did I just call it
Yeah,
golf places? I'm pretty sure your
you
husband
did,
will
but
kill
I'll
me.
forgive you.
Okay, golf clubs is what I meant. Like they're, first of all, there's like you said, the one in Ballantrae, you could just like
Mhm.
walk right over to it. But there's
Yes.
so many of them surrounding it, right? There's the which ones? The Ballantrae, the Royal, Stouffville, and the
Mhm.
Spring Lakes. But I know you know a lot more about golf. I'm not a golfer,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and then more over heading towards the Aurora Way too. You get close to Westview and St. Andrews, and I mean, it just goes on and on. We're so fortunate to be in an area where those sorts of amenities are so close to us,
And
and like many options for them too.
for sure, if Sonia was here, she would bring up the wineries
Of course.
And she keeps telling everyone that they deliver right now. So if you're out of wine, I
Well,
know
that is a very important feature right now.
it is,
So
for sure. Especially when you have a wine cellar like this house does. You need to keep it stocked, right?
that's
So it
right.
really is. And then it's close to the Coach House pub. And I know a lot of people are really big fans of that. I really miss it right now. I think we're all
Yeah.
missing all the great restaurants. There's Hanson's, there's
Yes.
the famous Nuno's Croupy Pizza. Have you ever had that pizza there?
I haven't actually.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't, but I have heard raving reviews from there, and recently have tried Hanson's too. So that was really delicious. So
Okay, so when
yeah,
we get out of this,
lots of things to add to the list to do when we're allowed to do them again.
that's it. We're gonna add definitely. We love that pizza there. We actually go. There's lots of good pizza places, but this one is just authentic, right? It's old time.
Mhm.
I'm from Montreal, so I'm very picky with my pizza, and quite love their pizza. I know it's very important to live by a pizza place.
It
You have
is.
to have these places around you. So there's also the Ballantrae Gates, that new plaza that they've been building. I can't
Yes.
believe how beautiful it is. I mean, I know, like, it's a beautiful plaza. I think it's like 8,000 square feet. I've only noticed a Tim Hortons there for now. Have you seen?
Mhm.
I know they're supposed to be putting pharmacy in a bank, but I'm not sure what's happened now, if they've had to stop building, or I'm not sure what the story is, but
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I know the Tim Hortons is very popular since it opened in this area, and it is a beautiful building. I'm not clear on who the other residents of the building will be when they're in. I haven't seen that. I do have a look at the sign every time I drive by to see if they've added anything new, but definitely it will be a staple in that area for some services that were not located there before. And there is some additional expansion coming in there. There was a new build site there recently that was, getting a lot of attention. So there is a little bit of growth and expansion in this area, although because of the rural area it's located in, because of the golf course and the York Regional Forest that surrounds a good portion of this, there's not a lot of room for expansion, but there is a little bit going on for sure.
there's enough so that if you need to run out and get something, it's not far, but not too much that it would bring too much traffic, right?
That's right.
So I
That's right.
am I am going to switch share here to our video, and just you had talked about, do I have it going here? Do you see it, Lisa?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we had talked about, you just touched on the York Regional Forest. I
Hmm.
mean, you're basically surrounded by all these entryways that you could get lost forever, right? Like they're very lucky to have all these things at their fingertips, because you can do horseback riding, snowshoeing, hopefully not snowshoeing for a long time, because we're absolutely done with winter.
Yes,
Um,
agreed.
but yeah, the forest is so beautiful, and I mean, I know you can look it up online, and they give you hours, and because I think they were shut for a while during
Yeah,
this pandemic, but I think I heard that they're reopened now.
I hope so.
Hmm.
Uh, there's something about just immersing yourself in nature and getting away from the same four walls you've been staring at for a month. That is really therapeutic. And although, we follow the guidelines as they're given to us because we believe they're given by people who are smarter than we are, it seems like the kind of thing that maybe would be good for us mentally and physically.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
there's that beautiful office.
yes, like look at the size of the sofa in there. So it's definitely double doors. Look at that. It's
There's those archways that I was talking about.
So we will, like we said, we will post this video on the
Yeah.
comments of this live video, so that you guys can look at it at your leisure. So the backyard wasn't open when we did this video, but
Okay.
I believe the homeowners are trying to get it open soon.
There's that view from upstairs.
Yeah, so it keeps snowing, so they're having trouble, I think, opening up the pool. But we'll follow us, and we'll be posting pictures as they send them to us for sure. Oh,
I
there's
mean, it's soon going to be May. Surely to goodness that snow has to
oh,
stop sometime soon.
Lisa. You shouldn't have said that now. You jinxed
Oh,
us. That's it. My son was born May 22nd, and throughout the years, I have pictures where we are in shorts, and then I have pictures we are in full
yeah.
jackets. Like, it's crazy, but we
Yeah.
should be used. There's the terrace. Oh, I love
Yeah.
this, off one of the bedrooms upstairs. It's beautiful. Say the word again, Lisa. It's spectacular.
Spectacular.
And here's the other. This is one of the other bedrooms. And all the bedrooms are nice sizes too in the back.
Yes, very generous sizes. And this is the basement. So you can see all of this extra space that I was talking about.
Mhm. The wet bar, yeah. This is what we all need too, is the gym. Right
That's
now,
right.
I could use
And this
the
movie
gym.
room.
Oh, there we go. Here's the part. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good shot of the backyard that showed the size of, like they had a huge dining room table out there and still it was basically lost in the space of the backyard.
And it all it just all flows together. I
There's
love
the fire pit
it.
too with
Yeah,
the bench seating around it.
that's great. Okay, so I guess this is it. We are 5 minutes over time. We're very sorry, but it is a very large house, so it's
It
hard.
is a very big house.
So I guess that's it. I think anything else you want to share with us?
Well, maybe just quickly touch on the market stat that
Oh,
we talked about from last week.
mhm.
There was a publication by the Toronto Real Estate Board last week that said that sales this year over last year are down in volume in the number of transactions by 69%. I don't think anybody's really surprised by that, seeing how it's been so difficult to do anything that involves actually going somewhere or walking through a space that's occupied by other people. So we're not really surprised by that number. And I think the most important stat that they published was not the fact that the volume was down by such a significant amount, but by the fact that the sales prices for those transactions that are still happening is actually remaining pretty stable at only a 1.5% decrease over last year. So although there are fewer transactions happening, the transactions that are happening at a relatively stable price to last year. And that I think is important because it tells us that we're not experiencing a market crash per se, where it is impacting values. We are experiencing an unprecedented shortage in the number of properties coming to market and in the way the properties on the market are turning over. Like the situation is something we've never been through before, and we kind of had to pause the way we normally do things until we could get a handle on how this is all going to work. But there are still properties coming to market. There are still properties being sold. There are still properties closing. So it's unusual times, and I'm not exactly sure what it's going to look like in another month or in 3 months, but I think overall things are stable, and that's good news.
That is good news. We
Yeah,
need some of that for sure.
yeah,
Okay, Lisa. Well, thank you again for a wonderful time. We will let you go because we know we're running late. We
yes.
hope that everybody has a great weekend. And if it's Friday, I don't know. My days are all, I don't know about you, but I'm having trouble with my weekends and my weeks, but it is Friday.
It
So,
is Friday. It
yes,
is Wear Red Friday. So put
yes.
your red shirts on. And I think they said maybe go stand at the end of your driveway for 2 minutes of silence this afternoon in a show of support for people. And yeah, virtual hugs to Nova Scotia and everybody involved in the tragedies that happened out there. And happy Friday to everyone else.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Catherine.
Bye.